Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
For centuries, ancient cultures knew the secrets to longevity, vitality, and healing. Now, modern science is catching up. Ageless Blueprint is a podcast that will reveal the modern secrets of better health and a better life. Join Dr. Eldred Taylor here today and every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on W4HC Radio at W4HC.com. As together we discover the secrets to better health through science and spirituality. A better life with Ageless Blueprint starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Eldred Taylor.
Hello, and welcome to the Ageless Blueprint. I am the spiritual MD. I'm Dr. Eldred Taylor, and I am happy to be here. I'm grateful to be here. This is another great morning. Listen to my song, The Lovely Day. So this is going to be a lovely day. I know it's going to be a lovely day for you guys. Well, today I want to talk about my adventure down to Cancun to the Joe Dispenza 7-day advanced workshop. I don't know if you are familiar with Joe Dispenza. He wrote some books called Superhuman. He's been doing this for about 20 years, trying to understand how the mind controls the body, and really how the spirit controls the mind and the mind controls the body. So I am new to Joe Dispenza. Let me just tell you how I even got to the point where I'm going to this advanced course. So as some of you may have heard my previous podcast, back in 2024, I realized I was going to be 65 this year. So, I have these kind of transition points. When I was 40, I kind of transitioned into this holistic type of medicine 25 years ago. In my 50s, in my 45 and 50, I became a speaker. I went all around the world speaking about functional medicine and hormone replacement and stress. And then 65, that's another one of those points where you start to contemplate. And so I was getting kind of bored and frustrated, kind of tired of talking about hormones. That was kind of old hat for me, even though it's new to some, people now. And I needed some type of spark. And I was just kind of frustrated, having some issues going on. And my wife became frustrated with my frustration. And somehow I saw this YouTube video called Reality Creator, and it's by Quasi. I'm going to have him on my podcast because I credit him with helping me to transform myself. And he was talking about identity shifting, how you can become whoever you want to be, and you can start doing it right now. And I took that course. I mean, I was diligent every morning. I did the activities. I did everything I was supposed to do, and my life changed. And he talked about first how you had to be aware, and then you had to be clear. You had to be clear about what you wanted to do. And the way you do that, you had it to come inside yourself. You had to change yourself. You had to change how you think. You had to change your thoughts. You had to change your behaviors. You needed to do something uncomfortable every day. You need to get over your fears. I went scuba dive. I did all of that stuff. And so what became clear to me is this dream I was having, and this dream I was having that I didn't finish school. I didn't finish Vanderbilt. When I was supposed to graduate, they came to me and said, you missed one of the courses and you're not going to graduate. And that haunted me. I used to have this dream every 2-3 months, I'd have this dream, and it felt so real. And after taking that course and saying you need to be aware of what your subconscious is telling you, and I was like, I didn't learn quantum physics because it wasn't even a course back then. Is that I think this dream is saying I need to learn quantum physics. And when you quiet your mind, and we're going to talk about that, when you quiet your mind, then things come clear to you. Your purpose can become clear to you. So quantum physics. So I'm going to tell you, I've been on a mad dash to learn quantum physics and the field and all of that. And it is transformative if you understand this. And I'm going to try and get this across, not just in this one video, but with my Ageless blueprint. That's what it is all about. It is all about trying to transform you and trying to do it by understanding quantum physics and how that can control uh, your mind and that can control your body. So anyway, Joe Dispenza is the man when you talk about quantum physics and you're talking about quantum physics and how you can use that to heal. And so I took his progressive online course. It was like 17 hours of lectures and meditation. And the one ageless blueprint that I will tell you is that meditation is the key. I am I am so ashamed that I have not been pushing meditation for the first 25, 30 years of my practice. Now I understand how important it is, and the science backs it up. Now that I can understand the field and quantum physics and energy, it all makes sense to me now. And now I can try to explain this or try to give this to my listeners. Did I freeze?
Yes,
Hello?
you did. But we
Okay.
can still hear you.
Okay, here we go. All right, great. I'll try and do what you did by moving my cursor. All right, so I don't freeze again. Let me stop talking. So let's go to let's go to the slide. So Joe Dispenza is the person who talks a lot about quantum physics. I mean, he doesn't just talk about it. He has initiated the scientific research of it, and the scientific research is unbelievable. And we will talk about that. And I'll talk about where you can find out more about this. But anyway, so the healing power of meditation. What if 35 hours of meditation could fundamentally change your biology? And I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw the testimonials, the video testimonials, the live testimonials. I talked to people that changed in the course of 7 days. All right. So, what we're going to talk about is this 7 day advanced workshop. It was 2,100 people down in Cancun. I mean, it was people from 85 different countries. That's how this movement is expanding. He started in 2003, and now it has become this global movement about energy medicine, how energy can heal, how you can change your energy. And if you change your energy, you will change your biology. And if you change your energy and you change your biology, you can change the course of your future. It says your personality is your personal reality. So some of the things that you think are just your personality, it is a reality that you have actually created. And if you have created your past, you can create your future. That's what his whole idea is, that we are caught up in the habits of our past. We have been doing the same thing, waking up, get your coffee, let your dog out, uh, take a shower, get dressed, go to work, you know, uh, hate the people you work with, eat a lunch that you don't want to eat. You come home, you cook dinner, and you're tired, and the same thing happens over and over and over again. What he talks about is you have to change your thoughts, you have to change your behaviors. That will give you a different feeling, a and that feeling at first will be uncomfortable because it's not familiar to you. But in order to change, you have to change your thoughts, your behaviors, and your feelings. You have to change how you feel about certain thoughts. And when you have these repetitive thoughts and behaviors and feelings, it creates beliefs. And then when you have a belief that you are a certain person, I am a type A person. I have diabetes. I have ADHD. When you keep saying that, that's what you become, and you get tied to that past. If you want a different future, you have to break away from that. And the only time you can really break away from that is when you're in meditation, is when you can get rid of all of the outside influences that remind you of your past. You have to go into this deep inner temple. You have to meditate there, and that will give you direction of how you can change your future. It can connect you to your purpose, and that purpose connects you to your future. So that's it in a nutshell. But let's keep going. Let me see what the next slide is. All right. So yeah, so it was 35 hours. We did 17 meditations over that week. Now, I will tell you, and he knows this, the first couple of days, I mean, we were in there for an hour meditating with other people, and it's hard. You start to think about how cold it is in the room. You start to think about, what snacks are they going to have after. It's tough, but he breaks you. You have to break through that. And he knows that. And so the first 3 days, it'd be the first 2 days, is 1 hour a day. And he's like, you have to push through that point where you want to get up and do something. You got to push through it, push, push, push. And so that's what you do. So by that third day, we were meditating for over 2 hours and it felt like 20 minutes. So it's all about practice. And he talks about you have to get in love with that feeling of a quiet mind. We are in love with a mind that is racing all the time. We want to be, we want to do multiple things at multiple times. What do you call multitasking? That's what I was trying to think of. No one multitasks well. Okay, you cannot divide your energy and think you're going to do anything well. So we got to get rid of this. We've got to do everything for everybody. We've got to do all these things. You have to be aware of the fact that you're doing it, and then you have to clear all of that stuff out. So that's what he was trying to teach us, how to be in love with a quiet mind and get over the familiarity of a busy mind. And again, we think busyness leads to productivity, but it doesn't. Clarity leads to productivity. I became very clear on what I wanted this ageless blueprint to be. And till I became clear about it, I couldn't do the podcast. I talked about this podcast for 4 or 5 months, but it took 4 or 5 months of clarity and meditation. Then I could do it. Even the whole school, how to be clear on who I need to help me to develop this. I cannot do this by myself. I need some expertise to help me. Rebel is an expert in product in video or media production, right, Rebel?
Yep. All of those and more.
Right. And so you have to get people to help you. And I became clear about who I needed to help me. And I believe I picked the right people because I quieted my mind and became clear about what I needed and who I needed. And I'll get into this, but it's all about getting in touch or connecting that GPS system in your head called a pineal gland, connecting it to a higher source that can give you direction. Just like a bird's GPS system tells them where to fly in the north and where to go to in the in the summer and where to go to in the winter, fly south in the winter, and they know exactly where to go. They know exactly where that nest is. Alligators and turtles, they know where they laid their eggs, salmon, all these things. Every animal has a GPS system, and you do too, and it's called your pineal gland. And it sits right here in the top of your head in the center there. And that is your connection to spirit. And a lot of pineal glands are calcified. And this may be controversial, but it's science. Fluoride in the water and in the toothpaste, it calcifies your pineal gland, so you lose your ability to connect with that higher source. This is not foo-foo medicine, this is science. This is how you connect with the field, the quantum field. And again, I don't want to get too scientific, I don't want to get too woo-woo, but I'm a scientist. I'm a medical doctor. I want to help people heal. And you heal not with outward sources, you heal from the inside out. And you have to get in touch with the power that you have to heal yourself. And again, I saw it over and over again. in this 7-day workshop. So you get measurable improvements in your sleep quality, your blood pressure, enhanced mental clarity and focus in daily life, a powerful reconnection with my true purpose. And his whole goal was to reactivate this pineal gland, how you can shift energy. And one of his saying is, wherever your attention goes, that's where your energy goes. So you have to pay attention. You have to be aware that you have a pineal gland. You have to be aware that that pineal gland is what can connect you to different frequencies. And this is a whole nother podcast, is that there are frequencies out there, just like your dog can hear sounds that you can't hear. There are frequencies out there that if you're focused on this 3D world, everything that you can see, feel, and touch and taste, if you're only focused on that, you are not aware of these other frequencies that and that's where your intuition and your gut feelings, all of these things that we say, those are these frequencies that are trying to get in touch with us. And you need to have open communication. You need to reactivate that pineal gland. You can do that with meditation and learning how to move energy. And we're going to eventually talk about all this in the Ageless Blueprint. But this is how you heal. You heal from within. Now, in the meantime, can maybe we do some things to help you feel better while you're healing? Yes, but true healing comes from the inside out. I got to get going. I was worried I wasn't going to have enough to say, but I got too much to say. So let me see if this thing shows up. Is it going to run, you think? Let's see. No, it's going from slide to slide. Do you know how to make the videos run, Rebel?
I can't. If you see how you have a play button there,
Uh-huh.
I can't control it. Can you press that play button?
Yeah, I did, but it just goes to the next slide.
I
Mm.
don't think they're embedded right. Do you have a video? Are these in video format on your computer where you can just
Yeah.
access it and add it?
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yeah.
can
How do I
add,
do it?
go to the present
Okay.
and find the video. It's present and video file, and then you
Okay.
find it
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
your
Here we go.
computer.
Oh, yeah. Simple as that. Let me see if this is one. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. That's Dr. Dispenza right there. And this is 21. I just wanted to prove that I was really there. So, you go to a meditation. Can you hear me now? Yeah. You go to a meditation seminar or whatever, and you think you're going to be on top of a mountain and you're going to be, sitting quietly. That was we did that also, but his whole thing is getting the energy up, getting a positive energy in the room, get a healing energy in the room. And so that's every session started out with a little, dancing and music and all that stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people. I really did. So now, all right, so that's cool. Let's do another one then. All right, so let me move that from studio. Let's do another one. Do-do-do-do. All right, so let me show you this. So this is the walking meditation. So this is on the last few days. This is 2,100 people out on this beach. And what you do is you have your headphones in, and he's talking you through a guided meditation. And at some point, he tells you to stop, and you start out just standing, and he's talking to you and talking about, the power that you have and your future. Think about your future, act like it's there right now. And then he tells you, walk into that future, and he's talking to you the whole time. And I'm going to tell you, it is an emotional experience. I just tell you that. And to see these people walking, and you see some people who, in the beginning of the conference, 4 or 5 days ago, they were having trouble. They were on wheelchairs, and they start walking. You see it, and It's crazy. Uh, it's a really uh, it's a really moving experience. And then he'll tell you to lay down, and you lie down, and you just kind of let those feelings just come over you. Uh, it's it's hard to explain, you guys. So let me show you one other one, and then I think we'll move on.
There's a question. Can anyone go
Okay,
to this, or is
yeah.
this a medical professional only?
No, so the prerequisite is you have to do his online course. It costs like 350 bucks. And you do his online course, and just so you can get kind of used to his meditation style and what he's talking about. It's like 17 hours of online. I mean, I did this over a course of weeks, but no, anyone can go. And he has them like 5, 6 times a year. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I'll tell you about uh, there's something on Prime Video now called The Source, and that is looking at the scientific information concerning this. I'm gonna get to that on the slide. Let me show you this last one, and then I'm gonna move on. I know time but this
I
is
just
me.
finished the second
Because I
walking
got sand all over
meditation.
my face.
Very powerful. You kind of you get your heart and your mind in synchrony, and then you walk into your future. You visualize your future self, and you walk into that reality. This is the second one I've done. Tomorrow, it starts at 4 a.m. because that's when your pineal gland is making the most melatonin. And when it's making melatonin, that's when it can give you a mystical experience. I know I got sand on my eyes because we lay down on the ground at the end. This is quite an experience, and I'll tell you more later.
All right. Yeah. So that's it. It's no, anyone can go. I'll talk about this. We did a coherence healing. It's almost a spiritual experience. I'll explain more about that. Let's go to it. I wanted to prove to you that I really was there. So, when you go into meditation, this is the goal. All right. So I use this Muse headband. I'm gonna talk about that later. I love this thing. If you don't know how to meditate, this is how you learn, is that. So these are beta brain waves, okay? Beta brain waves are what I'm using right now. I want to be alert. I need to be able to think. I need to be able to process information. So this is being attentive, being focused, okay? Now you can have high beta. This is not high beta. This is something called gamma. I'm going to show you what that is in a minute. But then there's high beta. That's when you have these scattered thoughts. You're thinking of a million different things at one time, and it's really hard for you to focus on one thing. So you want to go from high beta to beta, which hopefully I am now. And then when you really are focused, when I'm early in the morning, when I'm trying to study and learn different things, and I want to really get it to embed in my brain, you want to actually be in this alpha state where you're more focused, you're clear, you don't have a lot of these oscillations or this kind of irregular pattern. It's getting very organized, okay? So that is a meditative state, and you actually want to be in that type of state throughout the day, where no matter what comes upon you, you can still stay focused and calm, because when you are in that state, that's when you can make real decisions or good decisions. When you are focused, you're clear, you know exactly what outcome you're trying to achieve. So this is where you would like to be on a daily basis. When the time comes, you can go into high beta, but you don't want to live your life here. You want to live your life here and occasionally go up here. All right. This is theta. This is when your subconscious and your conscious mind are connected. And this happens 30 minutes, first 30 minutes of awakening, kind of when you are kind of awake, but you really haven't opened your eyes yet. And at night when you're really not asleep, but you're almost asleep, that's when you want to reprogram your subconscious mind. That's when you want to try and get different thoughts into your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind controls about 90 to 95% of your behavior. What you want is to be aware of what your subconscious mind is doing or doing to you, and you want to change that if you want to change your life and your identity and your future. You have to change the 95 to 90 to 95% of the actions that you do, and you don't even know that you're doing them. Just like when you drive to work every day, you can be thinking about 50 different things and not pay attention to driving to work, and but you get there safely because your subconscious mind has taken over. So you want to use your subconscious mind to allow you to not have to focus on everything. You don't want to have to focus on raising your hand or putting your hands together. Subconsciously, you do that. But there's also subconscious things that you do and subconscious ways you react to people. Like I had to understand the subconscious ways that I react to my wife and my children and my patients, and even the subconscious ways you react to yourself, how subconsciously you may have been programmed to think of yourself in a non-productive way. And that theta waves, a lot of that programming happens that first 7 years because you are constantly in this theta wave condition where your mind, your subconscious mind gets programmed. So if you were told in that first 7 years that you didn't deserve certain things, or that this is how life is, or this is how God is, or this is how, that's all a program that you've been running, and you don't even know that it's running in your in the background of your mind. Just like when your computer, you'll look at your computer like, oh wow, I didn't even know that program was still running. You have all these programs still running in the background and you don't know, because you're only focused on this one program, the things that you see and can touch and can feel. So, and then this is delta waves. This is when you fall asleep. So now this is that mystical experience. This is when the pineal gland is connected to that higher source. Now, this is scientific. I tell you, you should go look at that movie, The Source, and he'll show it to you. This is when people get healed. This is when your brain is in total synchrony, and where your brain is connected and your nervous system is connected to every cell in your body. And when you get in a heightened state, this gamma state, this super, it's a super coherent state where your body can make instantaneous changes. It's people there who instantly get, so cancers go away. I mean, this is the healing frequency. This is the frequency, and some people call it the God frequency. When you connect to that frequency through activating your pineal gland, that is when magic, that's when miracles happen in this state. It's it sounds crazy, but it's totally scientific. They were measuring people's brain waves while they were going through these experiences. So, brain evolution, meditation progressively shifts brain activity from the busy beta waves to relaxed alpha and the creative theta, and finally the transcendent gamma states. That gamma state is where the miracles happen. And what Joe Dispenza talks about is you have to keep going after it until you get there. It's all about practice. You have to do it over and over again to train your brain to be able to connect to that source. There's studies to show that it enhances their immune system. They showed where that when you meditate, it activates this receptor that can go to the outside of the cell, and it can prevent viruses, even the COVID viruses, from entering the cell. Just by focused meditation, you're able to increase your immune system so that you can prevent viruses. And I was taught you can't cure a virus, you can't do anything with viruses. No, your body can do miracles. Okay? If you meditate and you focus on it, it can do miracles. So they showed where it can block viruses from entering the cell. It showed where it changed a person's microbiome. where their gut biology changed in 7 days. And your gut biology controls your moods, it controls your immune system, it controls your emotions. So it's very important to have your gut in balance. And then cellular regeneration. There's a video where a person a person had thyroid surgery, had that thyroid removed. They began meditating. They began believing that they could regrow their fibroid. They went back to the doctor. The doctor did an ultra. He saw that the labs were normal and she wasn't on any medication. He looked at the ultrasound and was frightened. He did an ultrasound of her thyroid and he saw the thyroid was back. He ran out the room because he thought he was going to get sued for malpractice. He came back in and said, "Look," he started showing her pathology reports. Like, "Look, I took your thyroid out. I believe it." It's like, I don't know what happened. And she said, "I know what happened. A miracle happened, and I'm fine." This is crazy stuff for me as a medical doctor, but I've seen it. I saw someone with muscular dystrophy be able to walk again. You saw someone who had ALS get up out of a wheelchair and start walking. I can show you all of these on the videos. This can happen, but you have to focus on it and you have to believe it and you have to act like it has already happened before it has happened. You have to have the feeling that it has happened before it ever happens. It's all about thoughts and feelings. You have to have the correct thought and you have to believe that thought and you have the feeling that that thought has already materialized. I know we need to have a break. I can't stop talking about this, but let's go to a break and we'll be back in a minute.
We are going to a quick break, so stay with us as we explore the Ageless Blueprint right here on W4HC Radio and Talk4 TV. An ancient secret with a modern twist for better health and vitality. Dr. Taylor will be right back. Taking care of your health shouldn't mean taking a handful of pills every day. At Taylor MD Formulations, they create doctor-developed supplements that combine the best natural ingredients so you get the results you need with fewer pills. Taylor MD Formulations is backed by science, designed for real life with real results. Less pills, better health, doctor approved. Shop now at TaylorMDFormulations.com and discover smarter supplements for smarter health. That's TaylorMDFormulations.com. We are back for more of Ageless Blueprint. Once again, let's join Dr. Taylor for more insights and research on the ancient secret to better health and a better life in modern times. Here's your host, Dr. Eldred Taylor.
All right, I'm back, and I want to make sure that we get through our slides so we get through this discussion. But when I started Ageless Blueprint, I was like, okay, I want to talk about longevity. Thought I was going to be talking about a lot about peptides and stem cells and all this, and we're going to do all of that, okay? And if that's what you want, I think that's all a part of it. Just like getting your hormones straight. If you don't have your hormones straight, you're not going to be able to meditate because you're not going to be able to control your mind because your hormones are controlling your mind, and those hormones of stress are controlling your mind. So you got to get your hormones right. You got to get that stress connection right. Then we can go into the meditation and all that. So we're going to work on the body, but really where the value is working on your mind, okay, and reconnecting. So we're going to start with the body because that's what people are used to. They're used to this 3D world, but you got to move on up. You got to move up the ladder. All right. So let's go to the next slide. All right. Now, this is what has changed my life is understanding how to meditate and if I'm doing it right. I just had a patient, I was telling them about meditation. He said, yeah, I tried to meditate, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. I understand. I told you when I first started this 6, 7, 8 months ago, 2 minutes, I'm thinking about, hey, I need to drink another cup of coffee. I need to, whatever. All right. So I did this program called Declutter the Mind. It was 30 days of mindfulness meditation. First, you start out trying to do 5 minutes and then 10 minutes and 15 minutes. So, anyway, so what you do is you put the headband on, you connect it to an app, and you can listen to their guided meditation, or you can do your own. I actually recorded myself doing a meditation, and that's what I did this morning. So what I want to show you is that I had 87 birds. So you see this? This means that my mind was quiet this whole time. You see all these blue birds here? So this is when I was coming out. You see this yellow star. So I had two recoveries. This takes a lot of practice to be able to calm your mind for 20 minutes. And it also looks at your cognitive performance. Yesterday, I was a little tired. I did my meditation a little bit too late in the morning. You want to do it in the first hour or two when you wake up, because that gets you set for the rest of the day. But you see, my cognitive performance goes up. The earlier I do it, it's because I have less other things on my mind. All right. I 100% say this is worth it. You can go to www.choosemuse.com/ageless. You get 20% off. But this is essential if you want to learn how to meditate and you want to practice it. I do it every day. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes. When I really can really get into it, I do 30 minutes. And 30 minutes isn't hard anymore when I was doing 2, 3 hours with Joe Dispenza. So, and you do begin to fall in love with feeling that feeling of calmness. And that's when you get the clarity. That's when the GPS system is telling you, hey, this is what you need to do today. All right. So choose music. I think I had that on here. So we talked about the beta, about the brain states and meditation. This is where you want to live, is in this alpha state, relaxed awareness, the bridge between the subconscious and the conscious. Creativity begins to flow as mental chatter quiets. That's where you want to be in the morning. That's where you want to be all day. All right. This is when you want to introduce new things into your subconscious. Okay. Access to the subconscious mind is here. So, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, you should go over the characteristics of who you want to be. Okay. You should go over those characteristics that you want to be this type of person. That's when you say your affirmations. That's when you visualize your future immediately when you wake up and right before you go to bed. Now, this is the goal. This is when what they call connecting to source, and source is the field. So let me tell you this interesting thing. So back in the 1940s, this doc, he was looking at electromagnetic fields. If you don't understand it, anything that has a charge has an electromagnetic field. And we know we have a charge because we do EKGs and we do brain waves. We emit electricity. Anything that emits electricity has an electromagnetic field. All right. What was thought is that the body creates the field. Well, this guy looked at magnetic fields of people who had uterine cancer. And all the people who had uterine cancer had a certain electromagnetic field. Now, he also saw this same electromagnetic field on these women who didn't have uterine cancer, but they all ended up having uterine cancer eventually because they had this electromagnetic field. So here's what I got from Joe Dispenza. We think that this creates the field, but the field actually creates matter. Matter does not create the field. The electromagnetic field creates the matter. That electromagnetic field created uterine cancer in that person. So the thought is, if you can change the energy in the field, you can change matter. So how do you change the energy in the field? Your thoughts, because we saw the EEG, it had an electrical charge. We were looking at those brain waves. The heart, it has an electromagnetic field, right? Because we do EKGs. So the way you change the field is by your thoughts and the feelings coming from your heart. If you think health and you feel health, that field changes and that changes the matter. Now, again, You have to be open-minded to even grasp that concept. But the basic concept is that we are all energy. Everything is made out of energy, and energy has endless possibilities. Just think, if we're all energy, that's how we can all be different, because you can reshape and you can condense that energy in all different forms. The trees, how do they grow so tall? Is that they have a certain frequency and energy, and that energy comes from the earth, it comes from the sun, it comes from all around us. And again, some people may not be able to accept this, but this is quantum physics. This is science, okay? So you have to change the energy in your field with your thoughts and your feelings, and then this matter will change or can change. So when you're in that gamma state, you have coherence between your heart and your brain. And whenever you have two wavelengths that are in the same frequency, they expand, they get bigger. So the gamma waves are bigger than the alpha waves and the theta waves because they're all coherent and they're focused on one outcome. And it can be healing, it can be abundance, it can be peace, it can be love, it can be joy. But whatever you send out into the field, that's what will eventually become matter. Just like the people had the energy field of uterine cancer, and then the body responded to that. So your body responds to the field. I was trying to treat matter, with the pill, with the potion, and I still do that. But if you want to go into deep healing, you have to change the energy in the field. And again, I hesitate to say some of this because it's going to go right above somebody's head, but somebody is going to hear this, and it's hopefully going to change how they think about themselves and they think about the world around them. All right. So starting your practice, I would tell you, this is my sacred space. This is my extra bedroom. I get up early. My wife, she's still asleep, and I come down here. This is where I learn. This is where I meditate. This is where I connect. This is where I think about what I want to do for my podcast. What do I? This is my sacred space. So I would tell you to find a sacred space. Okay. And it's so sacred that I was like, I just blur the background so I can be where I feel like I meet the source. All right. So you find a quiet area. You find a comfortable seat. I bought this seat. It has a headrest. It has everything. And you want to, you can either be on a cushion or whatever, but you want to find where you're comfortable. And then the key is anchoring your breath. Is the best way to stay present is to focus on your breathing. And breath work is important. There's different types of breath work. There's breath works to synchronize different both sides of your brain. Breath is so important. When God said he gave you the breath of life, your breath is your key to life. You can go without eating and drinking for days, but you can only go a few minutes without breathing. That is your life force. And you have to pay attention to how you're breathing. And that is what gives you energy. All right. And then you have to embrace the process. You have to get to the point. I look forward to meditating. I look forward to quieting my mind because afterwards I become clear. I can sit down and do whatever I need to do. I feel focused. I feel energetic. I feel optimistic. And that's probably the most important thing is to wake up feeling optimistic that something good is going to happen. If you focus, the Bible in Philippians says, focus on these things, think on these things, whatever is pure, whatever is righteous, whatever is beautiful. Think on these things, and it gives you peace beyond understanding. It's how you think. It's like do not be conformed with this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And again, my dad was a Baptist man. I've been raised in church all my life. But did I really understand all of those things that I was hearing? And now I hear, and maybe I just needed the scientific approach to it, to get a better understanding. But yes, there are things that you can't see that are affecting you. The energy around you, the energy in this sacred space can transform you from that busy mind to the alpha waves and maybe even into the theta waves. And with practice, getting to that transcendent part, that gamma waves, where miracles happen. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So this Muse headband, I'm telling you, it's a life changer. It allowed me to get to that point where you saw all those birds down there. So you can track your progress. It'll record, your progress. It tells you what your average is. And again, I'm 65. What am I worried? My mother had dementia her last 4 or 5 years. So that cognitive performance is important to me. So I want to make sure whatever I need to do to maintain my cognitive performance, I'm going to do it. And every time it goes up into that great area, I pat myself on the back and I'm proud of myself for showing up and doing what I'm supposed to do every day. It's not my Ageless Blueprint tip to the day. It's not about how hard or the intensity that you do something with. It's about the consistency that you do it with. So I try to be consistent with my routine in the morning. I listen to uplifting songs. Excuse me. I do my meditation. I do my movement. I go outside and I spend a little time with nature. I get my cucumbers and my basil and everything from my garden so I can reconnect with nature. I do it. I try to have that routine every day. So you want to have a routine that enhances you, not a routine that ties you to the past. You want to, whatever your routine is, if you want to change, you need to change it. If you usually drink coffee every morning, start drinking tea or just start drinking water. If you usually feed your dog first and then let him out, then switch it around. Let the dog out first and then feed it. If you if you usually take a hot shower, take a cold shower. This is one of the things I did, is just to shake you up and to get you to just wake up and not live your life unconsciously. And that's what you want to have a conscious control of your life, that you are making decisions based on what is going on now and not based on something that you were programmed to do when you were 7 years old. And that is tougher than you think. You're like, oh, that's not happening, but really think about the things you do, and are you doing it because you saw your mother do it or you saw your grandmother do it? And that's fine. Some of those things are fine. You need to carry on those legacies, those traditions. But then there's also some things that my parents could not even dream of doing, but I can do. And that's just based on being African American in the United States, being born in the 20s. There were certain things that they couldn't do. They couldn't even dream of aspiring to do them. My dad always would tell me I could do anything that anybody else could do, but they were stuck in their generation. And so you need to understand, and there's some great things that I learned from my father and my mother, but there are also some things that I have to change in order to be productive in 2025. I have to change in order to get my message out in a different way. I don't need to get on a plane and go to hotels and ballrooms and like Joe Dispenza. I've kind of been there, done that. This is a different way that I want to do this. All right. I think we got a few more minutes. So, meditation is complementary medicine. Again, I do some of uh, the physical things, but yeah, cancer recovery. I did a webcast podcast on radical remission, and the key thing is about changing your mind if you want to recover from cancer. I know we're out of town. We're out of town. We're out of time, Rebel. I was worried I wasn't going to have enough to say. Now I've had too many. I've talked too much. But if there are any other questions, that's fine. Any other questions?
They had
We can.
questions about the Muse. You're gonna have to cover it next time. The question is, does it only track meditation state, or does it tell you more on a regular?
Yeah, it can tell you how still you are. It can tell you, you can. It's a program about how you can train your brain to be more focused, where you focus on something and it makes it move. It does a lot. And go to the link here. You get 20% off. Choosemuse.com/ageless. And actually, if you go to agelessblueprintpodcast.com, you will we'll have the link to that below the podcast. Okay, Rebel.
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right. All right. So I guess this is it, and we'll see you next week. I look forward to it. And join my school group, all of that good stuff. You know what to do. See you next week.
Thanks for joining Dr. Taylor today. If you missed any part of this show, just check out the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Ageless Blueprint is every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on W4HC Radio at W4HC.com. Together, we discover the ancient secrets to better health through science and spirituality made for modern times. Until then, feel free to check out agelessblueprintpodcast.com and taylormdformulations.com for more information.